Hi everyone, welcome to Mecaniquesportive's YouTube channel. This is Nicholas, and look at what's around me today by the palm trees in the ocean. These are the new Clio 6. And on top of that, I'm lucky to have them in 3 colors, 2 of which are new. This pure red, pure green on the Twingo, the red unlike flame red, and this blue. And I think it's also a new blue, because it doesn't really look like the one on the previous Clio. I feel like there's a bit of deep blue. Let's give it a try. I've already made a video of the Esprit Alpine, like this one, but mine was red. Today I decided to take the Techno version for you, still in this hybrid version, to do a test for you. By taking small roads here in Portugal, let's see how it goes. Renault claimed 3.9 liters consumption yesterday, but after testing 150 kilometers, including 40 kilometers on the highway at 130 km/h, I averaged 4.7 liters. Let's see how it goes today with the same hybrid engine but without using the highway. Many people in the countryside will also buy this car, so I think testing fuel consumption should be efficient. With this new engine, we'll discuss the 3 engine options again. For example, today we have 3 cars. We'll offer a new feature, liquefied petroleum gas with an automatic gearbox, which is impressive since Renault Group didn't have this before. For example, I could have a liquefied petroleum gas version with 120 horsepower and an automatic gearbox, making it bi-fuel for gasoline and liquefied petroleum gas. That's actually pretty cool. Then you could have another version. This one will have 115 horsepower with a much more standard engine without micro-hybridization. It's just an old-style engine with a simple start-stop system. It's disappointing. Some improvements would be nice, but maybe it'll cost less. It has 115 horsepower on gasoline and offers automatic or manual transmission. This version is a hybrid with a new 1.8-liter TACH engine. We previously had a 1.6-liter, but now it's a 4-cylinder. 1.8-liter, like on the Dacia Big Star, coming here with 160 horsepower. Renault Clio with 160 horsepower. That's starting to add up. In terms of size, this Clio has gotten longer. It's 7 centimeters longer than before. Now it's 4 meters 12 long, 1 meter 77 wide, and 1 meter 45 high. They increased the width by about a centimeter, which isn't much. But 7 centimeters is significant. There you go. If you ask some people, they'll tell you that 7 centimeters really makes a difference. On this hybrid version, the main update is the battery. Now with a slightly higher capacity of 1.4 kW up from 1.2. There's a new thermal management system for the battery, which allows for a bit more range because of the improved thermal management on the electric side. So still 2 types of engines on the hybrid. The electric one with 49 horsepower and the combustion engine with 110 horsepower, using this 1.8-liter engine. And we'll see how it performs, the acceleration, and so on. As usual, you know me, it's going to be an almost complete test drive. And if you want to see the highway and all that, it'll be in the other video. Come on, I'm taking you to discover them. Here, a green one in Techno, as there will always be 3 versions. Evolution, Techno, and Esprit Alpine. Green suits it so well, and look at the contrast here, especially with the sunlight. There are little golden and yellow sparkles. The green is gorgeous. And then we have this blue and this red, which are the new colors today. There will be more colors in the catalog. The blue looks great. I have both an Esprit Alpine and a Techno version here, which lets me compare them for you. For example, at the front, like this, there's a very, very, very slight difference. It's in the grille area. That's it. Esprit Alpine versions feature a blue to black gradient leading to the central logo. And there's also a camera here, since we have more options. And on the other one, you'll have chrome like this. Just chrome that doesn't fade. It's just chrome, chrome, chrome. So I have to admit, I like the chrome version, which gives it a bit more style. And you can see the grille better. And also, oh no, we have that too. Regarding the bumpers, I feel this one looks a bit different from the other, but it's probably just the sunlight and the small spots showing up on this Clio and the new Twingo. We have it here, but not everywhere. For example, it's missing on the grille. You only find it in certain places. The headlights, well, I just find the headlights beautiful. Paula, the designer, and I discussed it. The front, look at this here, this hood, these lines. Really very, very pronounced. It's impressive and really stylish, a great look. So under the hood, on all the engines today, they're E-Tech. The design is really very, very pronounced. Would you recognize a Renault Clio here if I cover it up? Personally, I couldn't say. That's a Renault. Except for the little diamonds you see. Then, when it comes to the rims, there's a difference. So here we have the rims from a Techno. Now we're moving to 18 inches, this time on the Clio. You'll have the choice between 16 on the base model and 18. So these are the Techno versions. I'll do it for you here in the shade. There you go. Very nice and well done. You can see it like this. And so these are the plastic parts here. So we only have the metal part right here. And on the other side, the Esprit Alpine version, which you can recognize thanks to the little blue stripes here. And we don't have the little Alpine logo written. It's a shame, because we often have it when we have a Rafale, an Austral, or similar things. And the blue, look, at the level of the glitter, if it will focus closely for me, very pretty. Just like the red, you find a lot of glitter in the paints from Renault. I always find that beautiful. Even the green stands out, and I think it stands out the most. I think it's packed with glitter. So here as well, the Techno version. The green is really, really beautiful. I can't wait to see Twingos in this color everywhere. Seeing Twingo and Clio together will be great. The differences then stop there on the outside, because at the back, whether it's an Esprit Alpine or a standard version, you can see. A small difference, this is gray on the Esprit Alpine, while it's black on the Techno version. That's it, I think. We have the same rear stands and rear three-quarters. Look at that, pretty interesting. We have the same rear three-quarters. And again, look at that, pretty interesting. Oh yes, and the badge here, Esprit Alpine, which makes the difference, so a very light blue that you can barely see. You can see it a little more on the red, but blue on blue, you can hardly see it. On the other hand, inside there's a big, big difference. So we have the mats, the Esprit Alpine door sills. We have this part in Alcantara. We have this part here, which goes all the way to the end, titanium style, and it's been blued. So it hasn't been heated, but it's plastic. And the Esprit Alpine seats, which really have a sportier look, with more support, as you can see here. And it's the same for the seat cushion. I'll leave the key here so I don't lose it. This, and the sport pedals. We'll see how it looks in the Techno version. In the back, there's Esprit Alpine, seat belts like the front, and special upholstery. Let's go see the back. Let's start again from the back. So, totally different upholstery here. You can see it's not the same. Here, it's all fabric. There's no faux leather. It's entirely fabric at this level. The headrests and other parts also have a different texture, creating a different feel. The Esprit Alpine is definitely more pleasant, but it's still more expensive. Like the Esprit Alpine, we only have a cigarette lighter socket in the back, no air conditioning, but we still have the two pockets. We have headrest mounts and fixed network on both rear seats, plus the front seat. We still have the power window controls. Up front, though, the seats are very different, as you can see here. So this texture, the seat belts, we don't have the little blue stripes. And so we have these seats here. They're different, but still seem supportive. Can't wait to try this. And as for the interior, this time there's no more Alcantara. We have this fabric section with stitching, with a gradient towards gray. Pretty nice. And then this plastic part that's just gray without any blue gradients. Also, the mats just say Clio, plastic pedals, no Alpine door sill. And also on the door here, it's not Alcantara with the little embroidery in the middle. It's like this. Honestly, I prefer this since it has a gradient and more detail. While the Alcantara is just a plain section, we still have the faux leather here with red stitching. Anyway, the interior is pretty nice. Yeah, hold on. I'm going to get in the back. Tell me what you think. So, Nicholas, 6 feet tall. Let's say the seat was adjusted more or less for me. I still have some space for my knees here. Headroom is fine if I lean forward, but leaning back makes me bump the headrest. I need to raise it. But yeah, I just hit the back. That's the one slightly unfortunate thing. We have the LEDs up there and the windows are electric. It hasn't started yet and the front view is actually quite good. What do you think? Let's go try this car. This one is definitely mine. There's beautiful sunshine today in Lisbon. Yesterday, when I tested the other version, it wasn't great. Wait, I forgot something, and you weren't going to say anything. I'll put you back on the tripod. I'll take you there. Which one do you prefer? I'll take the blue one this time because there's a lot of stuff in mine. So I'll show you the trunk. To open the trunk, you have to reach down here. You have to slide your fingers underneath there. There you go. And so here, clack. There you go. I'll put you like this. I'll line you up. There, that's pretty good. So, Nico, here we have U-clip accessories because, yes, they've also put the U-clip in this new Clio. The trunk, we have 391 liters in the standard versions and 309 liters in this version here. I'm in the 309 liters. It fits. There we go. And here, we don't have a hybrid version. Don't move, guys. Oh, I'm sure nobody has looked at this. And look here, we even have the spare tire. Very, very cool with the jack, the spare tire. Ah, that's interesting. Don't move, don't move. Wait, because no, but this also looks like a hybrid. Oh, it's a hybrid. I have one too, so the hybrid versions still have a spare wheel. That's actually good news. Anyway, so I showed you the trunk, the back, the design, the blue. These lines really stand out, right? I really like it. And you, which color do you prefer? It's true that this blue in the sunlight really stands out. Look, there it goes. Ah, it's nice, it's nice. But the green one too, oh wow, look at that. Let me show you again a little bit. The rear 3/4, because I think the rear 3/4 looks really sexy on cars. The green suits it well, but for me it's really more of a Clio. It stands out so much from the other Clios. You can sort of recognize it from the side, but does this look like a Clio to you if I show it like this? It changes, doesn't it? There's a new feature. The wheel arches are now painted and it has aero mirrors. Check out their look. Affects the wheels. Higher-end versions have cameras. Transistri Alpine or this Techno can also get camera mirrors as an option. All right, let's go hit the roads of Portugal. I love this scenery with the palm trees. Beautiful, isn't it? All right, friends, here we go. It's already hot in Portugal in the morning, 19 degrees at 9:50. That's unusual for us in France, especially in November. All that. Come on, start. I set the air conditioner to 21 degrees as usual. Drive. So, we're leaving our two blue and green Clio seats, which were honestly very nice, to hit the road now. Thank you. Goodbye. So, here we go. We have a little security guard who tells us which way to go, all that. So, we're heading out with this hybrid version. Like I was saying, there will be both an e-gasoline liquefied petroleum gas and a regular gasoline 1.2-liter version each time. So this time it's 1.2 liter. It's something new in the Renault group because before it was the 1-liter liquefied petroleum gas that we found on the EcoG 100e. For example, at Dacia. But even Dacia itself is going to introduce a new liquefied petroleum gas model again on the 4-wheel drive versions. So it will be in liquefied petroleum gas hybrid. I tested a hybrid G version with a 48-volt micro hybrid system and liquefied petroleum gas, which is still different from what will be on the Bigster or Duster 4-wheel drive versions. So there are a lot of new engine options. And liquefied petroleum gas is actually pretty cool since it helps you save quite a bit of money. We'll see how it goes with this hybrid version. But of course, hybrid means more technology, so it's more expensive. Whereas liquefied petroleum gas, it's just a tank that you add and then it goes into the engine just like we're used to. So right now, the engine is running. You can hear it, let's not deny it. It's a Clio. It's not meant to be a high-end car where everything has to be super soundproofed, etc. Today, the weather is really nice. Yesterday, I tested it while driving. The car was excellent and had great grip, even in the rain. I found that pretty impressive. The interior of the Clio, so the chassis, has been redesigned. The interior, everything has been redone, as I showed you. If you watched the other video, I compared the Clio 5 to this one for you. So there's nothing in common anymore, neither on the exterior nor the interior. There are very, very big differences. I'm currently driving in electric mode. At speeds below 30 kilometers per hour, a pedestrian warning sound is activated. With Renault, this is always noticeable. You can hear it from both outside and inside. There we go. It's dynamic. I adjust the steering wheel closer, as it's adjustable in height and depth. I prefer it closer for better movement. Like rally drivers who don't drive with arms stretched out. Don't drive leaning back, you lose responsiveness. Sit up so you can steer properly. That's also super important, to have good handling of your car. And also in terms of how it feels. What you need to know is that you also drive a car with your butt. That's why there's a footrest on the left. You push your leg and sink your hips into the seat, even on the track. It's one of the first things instructors, coaches, and professionals will tell you. You drive with your butt, and then your eyes handle what's going to happen with the steering wheel. And the feeling really comes from your backside. So I often go to the track for those who follow the channel. I really love doing that. We've never even tried. I was the only Frenchman to make a video for you about the Clio Rally 3, which is a rally car. Rally 3 means four-wheel drive, sequential gearbox, all that. I was the only one. It was pretty impressive, and I love doing that. I hope this year, even in 2026 and the years to come, to do more race cars. If Renault releases a rally version, call me back. But they released it with the old version, I think, the car. Just in case there's the new look and all that. Renault, don't hesitate. I love this experience. It was incredible. The interior is high-tech. To be honest, compared to the Esprit Alpine, there's a slight difference in terms of the look and so on. On the other hand, I feel like I have just as much support. That's pretty good. I feel supported and there's enough space. You could be a little bigger than me without any problem, even if you're tall. There's still room. The seat is height adjustable, plus all the other adjustments. Right now, I'm at the lowest setting. I like being a little low. Sedan or long wagon version, it's nicer. Or the sporty version, with your legs stretched out a bit more. We have a new mode. Above all, that's going to be the most interesting thing about this Clio. We usually have standard, eco, sport, and custom modes. The custom mode is gone, because people didn't use it much. And people rarely switched from eco to sport mode. It's data that Renault collected. Because, when you have a car, you click to accept data transmissions, etc. Even on computers, phones, all that. With this information, they were able to see that people didn't really use sport mode and others that much. So they created a smart mode. For example, when I'm driving, smart mode decides if I should be in eco, comfort, or sport mode. For example, in the city, I don't need to be in sport mode. So right now, the car's in eco mode, which normally allows me to save fuel and to have more comfort and more flexibility. If I press harder, like now, for example, there you go, it switched to comfort mode. So it changes the mapping, it changes the throttle response, it makes a few differences. Since it's electric, whenever I slow down or brake, the car switches back to electric. A small essential button is the auto hold here. It allows me not to have to touch my brake pedal when I'm stopped like this at a light. So that's the first way to do it. The second technique is to use driving assistance features, since we have an adaptive cruise control, the limiter. So I can choose here. So either off or active assist. So that's autonomous driving. Either just the adaptive cruise control or a limiter. I admit I enjoy using automatic driving mode. There you go, 50 kilometers per hour here, for example. So in the city, it's more difficult, especially in cities like here in Cascais, to spot the lines, especially on cobblestones or other surfaces. But we're going to test it on some small roads. Next, police ahead of you. Oh yeah, I didn't know Google Maps said that. Okay, we can always say that, I don't know. That's cool. There is, yes on Google Maps abroad. Since yes, Google Maps and Google Assistant are directly integrated into this car by default. So that's standard. Gemini will have AI integration by 2026, allowing you to talk to it like ChatGPT. For those who know a bit about AI, it's pretty good. It allows you to get more in-depth answers and questions. We could ask it to do more things, for example, open the left window, etc., etc. A bit like what Renault introduced on the R5, which is now coming to all cars. We'll be able to talk to it and ask specific things, like if a restaurant is open. Maybe in the future, we'll be able to say, reserve 2 seats at this restaurant, since right now I'm not sure. Most restaurants let you book on Google by entering your name and details. After saving your data, it prompts you to book a table at the Peninsula tonight. Maybe not with a Twingo or Clio, but it could for any restaurant, book 2 seats under a certain name and so on. So it's pretty interesting. Thank you. Still in eco mode and running on electric, most of the city is covered this way. When the engine restarts, it works a bit harder than normal to recharge the battery. This E-Tech gearbox uses a dog clutch system like Formula 1 cars. There's no clutch. You always start in electric, then the gearbox connects and shifts gears. It's quite specific to Renault, but it works well. Afterwards, I don't have the exact feedback on the E-Tech gearboxes and engines. If you have any feedback on what's already come out on the Clios, the Australs, the Rafaels, the Symbios, the Capture, etc., feel free to let me know. But for me at least, since I only test the cars in operation, it works very well. And it has improved a lot in recent years with the software updates. Previously, when I tested it in E-Tech, it would rev higher and was much noisier. And they've really changed that, and having a bigger engine with a 1.8-liter engine allows for more torque, and actually lets the engine run at lower RPMs to provide just as much power to the electric motor to recharge the battery. That's also what's interesting about this engine size. I'm still in electric mode, and I have to say it's comfortable. And also, the comfort of electric is its smoothness. Those beeps you hear, that's because it's telling me, hey, you're going a bit too fast. And it just saw a 30 sign. So I pressed twice here on my safety personal to turn off those super intrusive beeps in my life and set all the driving aids the way I want. You can turn off a lot of things, like the camera that's on right now. It has become mandatory. The overspeed alert has become mandatory. Lane departure warning is now mandatory. With Renault, you can turn everything off for a more peaceful drive. Because, for example, when you're in a 30 zone and you're going 32, well, it's annoying. The beep, 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 beep. Actually, for me, it stresses me out more than anything else. And since it stresses me out, it annoys me. And since it annoys me, I'm more likely to have accidents. All their regulations are cute, but they're too intrusive. Honestly, I just want to turn it off sometimes. I can't see I'm going to hit a curb or someone. For me, it's not necessarily a good thing to add so many features and have so many distractions just in case. The engine restarts here, for example, when going uphill. You can hear it a little bit. Thank you for not putting in a 3-cylinder engine. And it's nice that it's this 4-cylinder, which runs much more smoothly. I see that I'm going straight. Quite pleasant. Normally, when I let off like this, I switch back to electric right away. It tells me, there you go, that's good, you don't need too much power. No, well, go ahead, I'm letting off. In the city, that's mostly what people do. Most of the time, when you're driving a Clio, you'll go a little bit outside the city. We'll often use it this way. So the engine runs a bit. As soon as you really slow down, it tries to shut off to make as little noise as possible inside the cabin as well. And now, for example, as I start off again, it recharges a little. I'm still in electric mode. Even with harder acceleration, it's still electric. There's 49 horsepower and lots of torque. The torque matters more than power. It's what drives acceleration from a stop. Even with 49 horsepower and 500 Nm of torque, it feels much stronger than just having high horsepower. Horsepower isn't important. Horsepower is what's at the very top. When I let off, oh, a little speed bump. There aren't many speed bumps here. It's comfortable, that's the Clio side of it. So it shakes a little bit, but it's really not unpleasant, especially since we have so many speed bumps back home. I'm so happy when we go abroad or outside the Paris region. The Paris region, people put way too many speed bumps everywhere, it's awful. There are also some cobblestones here. It's actually quite pleasant. The brake pedal, when you start braking at first, it's always the electric system that brakes. That's specifically to save a lot on brake pads. We have D mode and we have B mode. So right now, I'm in D, now I'm switching back to B. In B, it allows me to, look, for example, there's a roundabout here. I let go, I don't touch anything. It slows down, slows down, slows down, slows down. Down to about 10 kilometers per hour. So right now, I'm basically at 10 kilometers per hour. The car has a creep function, so it always moves forward on its own unless you use auto hold. In traffic, releasing the brake makes it move unless auto hold is on. Then it stays stopped until you tap the accelerator, after which it moves forward again. All right, let's keep going. I usually have about 2 hours of driving left, so we should be fine. We can't miss the plane. Over there on the right? Oh, okay, I didn't know. I think we've been here before. We come here often. There's a nice hotel. We stayed there with the Kia electric vehicle. 3, if I'm not mistaken. Very big pothole there. Pretty standard. We always have at least a minimum sidewall height on the tires. There was a spot over there. Why is it making me go this way? Well, I need to stop somewhere because otherwise I'll never make it on time. All right, we're leaving the city now for some small country roads. Fuel consumption averages 4.5 liters so far. I'm going to treat myself again. All right, yeah, I'm getting carried away, but I love music. And the sound is decent in this car. I'm not driving anymore, I'm letting it drive. It's doing a good job. The Harman Kardon version is still much better. Actually, what higher-end stereos really bring is more frequencies, more distinction between the highs, mids, and lows. But it's mostly the lows. It brings a lot more bass than the standard speaker versions. Yeah, it's still driving all by itself. It's waiting until it's properly parked, waiting until everything is clear. I'm not touching the pedals at all right now. It's really the car doing everything. There we go. It handles speed bumps pretty well. It doesn't know how to slow down for a speed bump yet. Maybe that'll come one day. It'll see the speed bumps and say, okay, you shouldn't go over them too fast with the cameras and all that. But here, it's 30 in this little village. I'm letting it go at 30. There's another speed bump here. We're going to go over it at 30. Normally, they say it's 30 for a speed bump. It's fine, honestly. It's comfortable. And when you're sitting right in the middle, there's a little bounce on this seat. The elasticity of the foam is honestly pretty good. And now, we're actually going to take the smaller, twistier roads. So right now, we're at the Clio test drives. There are T-Roc test drives in the same city, near Lisbon. Here, there are Peugeot 308 test drives. So we run into colleagues from all over. I mention it sometimes in videos. Basically, we're often gathered in one place. So like here, with all the Clios, all the journalists are here. You saw Etienne Brûlé in the video I made yesterday. Basically, all the media from around the world come to Lisbon for about 3 weeks to test drive this Clio. And that's actually how press test drives work. All the journalists gather in one place, and this week, 9 brands held test drives. I can't attend all of them, which is why I want to add more people to this channel to provide as much content as possible with creators like me. By the way, feel free to let me know if you'd also like to see other people. That's why I try to work with Clémence all the time. But it's not easy. She has a very busy schedule. I'd really like Clémence to come work with me. There we go. Overtaking here, just like that. So here, for example, I'm accelerating a bit more and it automatically switched to comfort mode. And I think in a few minutes, it'll switch to sport mode. And now we're getting onto some winding little roads here. All right, let's go for it. Oh, but it handles well. There's a cyclist. Let's slow down. This road is also really cool to drive on. We've already taken it with the Skoda Superb. We've already taken it with the Kia. We've taken it with a lot of cars here, since we come to Lisbon very often, because it's a pretty nice place. There we go, let's overtake here. Same thing for overtaking. Foot down, it's definitely more convenient. Look, there are photographers over there on the side. Hey there. All right, let's go into the winding section. The seats actually hold you pretty well. That's not bad. Braking here, it's very powerful. As soon as you hit the pads, it's really powerful. It grips the road really well. It's pretty impressive. I didn't expect it to handle this well. The braking is effective. The car doesn't roll too much. Honestly, it's not bad. It turned on the hazard lights because I braked hard. It's pretty impressive. I like it. You can feel it leans a little bit. It settles slightly. It's really not bad. I like it. We're not going to drive like idiots all the time because we're on the road. I don't recommend driving like idiots on the road. There are tracks for that. This isn't a car for the track, but when you're on small, twisty roads and things get a bit dynamic, you can really enjoy this car. Because it has a good chassis. It holds well. It's dynamic. With 160 horsepower, that's plenty. These engines don't rev as high as the old ones where you could shift gears since everything's automatic now, but driving this car is still a pleasure. I have to admit, it's good and it's safe. Actually, this Clio has a very stable behavior. So they've revised the chassis, made it more dynamic, and at the same time added a bit of comfort. Honestly, I think the mix works really well. So here we're going to use a bit more fuel because we're only going uphill, we're getting into the mountains. I think I have a really nice spot. I think it's called Love Street, which is a little higher up here, and it's really beautiful. Then we'll go back down and head to the airport. Guys, I've brought some friends to this spot, but look at this view of the sea. It's just amazing. It's Rua do Amor, it's Love Street, and I understand why, because it's just beautiful, and everywhere you look, it's just so gorgeous. I love this spot. When we reach the end of the road, I'll give you a shot. This spot has one of the best views of Lisbon. I brought some friends here because they had to see it. Over there is Fred filming his cars, and you can see the landscape. It's Honestly, I'm a huge fan. The gentleman who owns this villa, I'm really jealous. I'm going to work harder at school so I can buy this when I grow up. I took some nice shots, including a tracking shot, because this is a beautiful road with my friends, and I wanted to make the most of it. So, let's get going again. I'm going to drive because we're running late, and we have to go to the airport. I still have at least an hour and a half of driving left. I need to eat, and then a flight back to Paris tonight at 7 o'clock with the time difference and everything. But I'm going to test this again. So, as I was saying, very good chassis. You can see it. Even here, it's a bit slippery. And clearly, it's a pretty pleasant car. It stays in eco mode most of the time, like I said. It switches to comfort or sport if needed, depending on how hard you press the accelerator. But here, for example, it switched to sport. It sensed there were some curves, that I was driving a bit more aggressively, and so on. At first, the brake pedal gives a slight electric slowdown. Pressing harder increases braking strength. Switching to D feels the same. It brakes hard, and pressing even harder gives a strong bite. The chassis is good, honestly. It handles well, and right now I'm being followed, so the colleagues are in front. It really looks great. It definitely looks great. But for me, it's really a car that's been completely transformed with this rear end. I feel like I'm following something else, but I like it. Renault is really going through a transformation, and it's a good thing. There are very few brands that question themselves this much or make such different changes. After that, we'll see if the public follows. So far, honestly, everything they're doing is pretty impressive. Ah, more colleagues. I think that was BFM TV. I love it. Here we go. Let's drive. What's nice is that if you drive in eco mode, for example, I can switch back to electric. As soon as I ease off a bit, like here, it'll go back down, I ease off the pedal, and we'll switch back to electric pretty quickly. It tries to recharge the battery as much as possible so you can drive on the road when it's more dynamic, like this. And then electric. Here, for example, I switch to electric. And if I play along with eco driving a bit, I can also lower my consumption. When going downhill, for example, press very lightly on the accelerator to let the car coast more and keep it moving. Then maintain a steady speed, which also helps with eco driving and using as little fuel as possible. Here, for example, on the whole descent, the goal is to coast as much as possible. Then avoid accelerating hard to keep consumption low. For example, here we are at the top of the mountain. We have an average of 6 liters, which is still decent, considering we did a lot of videos at the beginning. And we'll really see at the end of the trip. I'm tired of talking to you. I'll catch up with you at the end of the trip. We're playing some music and following our friends. I'll debrief you at the airport since today we're avoiding highways. We've done that before with the other version, which is basically the same as the Esprit Alpine, except for the design. In the mountains, once the 1.4 kW battery is full, B mode becomes useless. Right now, I'm in B mode, but switching to D mode makes no real difference. We'll get engine braking, so the engine restarts even when going downhill, but it uses no fuel. The wheels turn simply due to their rotation, similar to using a manual gearbox. It uses a bit of engine braking like that to minimize brake pad wear, but the battery will fill up pretty quickly. That's why, for example, with Toyota, there's a specific B mode, which is really just made for regenerating when you're driving in the mountains. And here, basically, the same thing is happening. So the engine restarts, creates a bit of engine braking, but without making too much noise, and then the brake pads take over. There you go. I was going to drive a bit on the highway at 90. I've averaged 4.7 liters since earlier, same as yesterday, after highway, mixed, and smooth driving. There were many small villages and winding roads which slowed things down. In the end, it was mostly city and small towns. There wasn't that much driving, so now we're really going to focus on smoother roads. It's going to be a bit more interesting in terms of fuel consumption. So now, for example, I can finally set it to 90, and above all, to test my driving aids then. From here, there we go. So it's 80 here. There we go. I have 80, then 60 here. We're slowing down a lot. Emerge here. Look, I don't have it. We're going to do it very quickly, very strongly. It's still holding here. It's still holding. Yes, it's really holding very well. This car is pretty impressive with its handling. I'm really surprised. All right, come on. I'll show you a little bit anyway. First, don't move. I'll do a little bit like I usually do. There we go, 90 here. 90 is very decent. We barely have any wind noise. The engine just turned off. It's quiet at a steady speed, and it's about to start up again. There it goes. Now it's fine. You can hear it a little bit, but it's not extremely loud, and the pavement here is actually very noisy. These are the ones that are super aggressive. On the other hand, it gives good road grip, but I think they must wear out their tires faster in Portugal. We'll keep going straight. I'll do a 0 to 100 for you like I always do. We have 160 horsepower. Now that's something in life. At Verde, there's no one behind, fortunately, which will allow me to stop here, so it's fine. Look, hop, stop, no one around, 0 to 130, pedal to the metal. It starts off in electric mode. There we go, it's starting. The engine kicks in at 56, 70. At 70, there's a real jolt. 90, 100, 110. At 110, up to 110, 50. A big dip at 120, 130. 160 horsepower is fine. I overtook everyone easily. It accelerates well with good power and torque. It's more than enough. Come on, let's do a quick one. At 130, here. At 130, we hear some slight wind noise. But it's still fine. The engine, you can hear it a little bit when going uphill. It revs a little higher to recharge the battery and make it as efficient as possible. It was reworked, it's a little bit, but it's still fine if I set it to 110 here. At 110, there's still minimal wind noise, mainly near the mirrors in front, but it's very slight, much less than at 130 with the engine at a steady speed. It's fairly quiet. You can hear something spinning in front, but it's fine. As I mentioned, I tried not to exceed 90 in this video, just as if we were driving in the countryside. Now, I'll reactivate all my driving aids and continue at 90. And the goal now is to do about 100 kilometers. Our consumption went up a bit with the heavy acceleration and so on. We're at 4.9 liters now, and we'll see how it goes. The goal is to stick to 90 all the way to the airport, covering at least 100 kilometers. So far, I've done 46 kilometers. What I'm gonna do is keep going on this highway until I don't know where, and then turn around to go back to Lisbon Airport. I've been on the highway for a while now, and I've already covered quite a few kilometers doing this. And actually, I noticed that really, at 90, that's where the car really uses the least amount of fuel. Average consumption drops to 4.2 liters per 100 since the start, thanks to the small roads and villages. And the elevation changes used up a lot. Now, when I drive steadily at 90 with cruise control and driving aids, the consumption keeps dropping. Now, it just went back up because I'm accelerating again, but I'm going to stay at 90. So now I'm getting into my little cruise. Here we go. So now I have 32 kilometers left to go. I wanted to go over 100 kilometers to really have it on 100. And right now, I'm at 70.7 kilometers. We have 32 kilometers left to reach 102 kilometers. More or less, that will really give us the liters per 100 to see this average, but honestly, at 90, it looks great. And what you need to know is that all cars, minimum fuel use occurs at 80 kilometers per hour, but I believe the most efficient speed is 88 kilometers per hour in 6th gear. That's the efficiency peak. Between wind resistance, fuel consumption, the gear engaged, and the gear ratio, normally 88 kilometers per hour is ideal. So when you're between 80 and 90, that's when you use the least fuel. Anyway, I'll give you a recap. We'll see if I can get down to 3.9 liters, but my goal is really to drive in real conditions. Normally it's 120 on the highway, but I'm going 90 like a truck, as if we're in the countryside. I did a few small accelerations and other things, but the goal is to test the 3.9 liters. I'm at the airport now, with better fuel consumption than yesterday. Over an average of 101.8 kilometers, at 4.1 liters per 100 kilometers here, we can really say over a real 100 kilometers. There, look, we have colleagues with another Clio, and so we're going to the airport to return this little car. So now we're going through here, and we're entering the parking lot right here. And like that, I'll give you a little final debrief about this car. You'll see, it's actually pretty good, but in terms of fuel consumption, we're doing well. 3.8 liters. I believe we can do that in France on our small, flat national and departmental roads. So interesting. So a quick conclusion with this Renault that I just dropped off here. We're back at the airport where we left yesterday. There are all the Clios with journalists from all over the world here to test them. So, we have a parking lot filled with all the same versions, either Esprit Alpine or these Techno versions, so between the Esprit Alpine version or the Techno. What changes basically is a bit of the look and appearance, let's say. Then there are a few extra options in the Esprit Alpine versions, but otherwise it does the job very well. Simple. Honestly, the Techno does the job. But if you want the Esprit Alpine style, go for the Esprit Alpine. The hybrid version, like I said, we're at about 4.1 liters per 100. Yesterday, I was at 4.7 liters after doing a lot of highway driving. So in any case, we're under 5 liters per 100, which is honestly pretty good. So feel free to let me know what you think about this car. The look is good and very different from the previous version. Honestly, I liked it. The colors are fun, especially in this version. And as we can see, it's still the Clio. After all, it's still a car that's suitable for 4 people. With a little bit of trunk space, in short, it's enough. And then this little look with the rear lights on, there you go. Don't hesitate, give a little thumbs up, all that, kisses, and see you soon for the next video. Ciao!